This is bar, like I said. And feel free to modify any of the movements. I'm going to be giving a lot of modifications and options. So we're going to start with the warm-up, 20 minutes of lower body work, about 10 minutes of upper body, and then 10 minutes of abs, and then some stretching. This is a 45-minute class. Okay, let's see, any questions? All right, we're gonna start with our warm-up. So you have a chair. You wanna stand, not so that you're reaching for it, but relatively close. We're gonna start in first position. Your heels are together, your toes are apart. Reach the outside arm up and over, up and down. So we're getting a nice side bend, waking up and lengthening one side of our body. Technique is the most important parts of bar. It helps with feeling the correct muscles in a safe and effective manner. So even if you have music on, don't worry so much about maintaining rhythm. For me, the reason why it helps to have some music is if I do something, I'll do it for a 32 count. And I don't have to count as much. Okay, let's do one more. And we'll keep the arms up. And we're gonna pull elbow towards the knee or pull knees up towards the elbow. Don't worry if they don't touch, it's not the purpose here. It's more about contracting those obliques and working those hip flexors. Reach and pull. Good, let's do about 8 more. Good. So finishing there. And if your arms or shoulders ever get fatigued, you can always keep them down, but it's kind of nice to have them up and also warming up in the process. So I'm reaching now out. And I know it might not be super obvious from the screen, but I'm kind of dragging my toes back in. So I'm not tap out and bring it in, but like reach out and then kind of drag it in. Almost like you're creating a little bit of friction and extra work for the inner thighs to pull your legs in together. And if you want to add a little bit more arm movement, you can. Out and then front center. This is why you don't really need weights in bar, is if you're constantly keeping your arms up at about shoulder height, you are going to feel your shoulder muscles fatigue over time. Okay, last one, let's bring the arm up and then leg out and then to the knee. Out to the knee. When you're extending that leg, straining it, think about really squeezing this quad muscle. And think about this knee sort of staying in the same place in space. In other words, see how my knee drops here and then I lift the knee again? See if you can keep the knee in the same spot. Do 4 more. Good. Now we're gonna do everything on the other side. So since it's easier for me to face you guys than face the back wall, I'm just gonna move my chair. But if you want, you can turn around. It's up to you. So we're starting with the side bend first. And I will tell you now that most likely I will not count properly. I do aim to do the same number on each side. It just probably won't be exact. When we're doing our side bend, think of reaching up first and then over. Up and then over. This is a stretch and the lengthening, sort of a wake up the body. All right, keep the arm up. Let's lift that outside leg. Anytime we move a limb, it's going to be the outside leg. So I'm not really saying right or left. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It's always going to be the side that's not next to the chair. Mostly because you don't want to kick the chair. Let's do about 8 more. Really warm up those hip flexors. Reach, pull. You can think about pulling the arms down, and you can also think simultaneously you're lifting and pulling the knees up. Do 2 more. Okay, I'm gonna bring my arms here. I'm gonna reach the toe out, I'm gonna drag the foot back in. So you can keep the arm still, or you can reach it to the side, pull it. So barre is just inspired by ballet. My barre classes are a little bit more fitness oriented. So you're gonna be seeing squats and lunges, but all following the principles of posture, alignment, balance, symmetry. You gotta remember dragging that toe in and thinking about, like, imagine there's like a pillow between your legs and you're squeezing into that pillow, so activating those inner thighs. Last one. Bring that arm up, and you can also have the arm down. You don't need the arm at all. If you don't want to, put it here. So we're extending and bending. Out to the corner, so the front corner. It's not directly to the side, but it's not directly in front either. It's basically following the lines of my turnout. Because I'm in first position, with my heels together, toes out to the corners of the room. I should also mention, anytime we're standing on one leg, the standing leg is slightly bent. We don't want to lock out that knee. All right, 3 more. Good. It doesn't really matter what side you have your chair on, and you don't even need your chair if you want to work on your balance. We're going to do heel raises. This is a symmetrical movement. We're not moving one leg or the other, so that's why it doesn't matter what side your chair is on. Heels come apart as you get up on your toes, and then the heels come back together again. So again, if you want to work on your balance, you can take your hand off the chair, but you always have the option to put your hands back on the chair. You can add a little bit of arm choreography. You can also keep it up the whole time, which helps lift the chest, abs nice and braced for balance. Lots of options here. Good, so this is our warm-up, but it's also just great for already waking up and working those muscles. Since the chair's already here, we're gonna start in this position. You're gonna take the outside leg and put it slightly in front. Actually, I'm gonna put my chair like this. Did I just like do a 3/4 turn instead of a 1/4 turn? Okay, so my outside leg is forward. My apartment's really small. Okay, so it's slightly, my front leg is slightly in front of the other. This is not a full length lunge. We're not doing a full length lunge. We're doing what we call an itty bitty crotch lunge. And the way this works is that you don't want the knees to shoot past your toes, just like you wouldn't want a regular lunge to do that. If this does bother your knees or your back knees, you can go a little longer, and you can absolutely do a full length lunge. But the idea behind this shorter stride length lunge is that you don't go as low. That doesn't mean you're not going to feel the muscles. You're gonna try to keep your chest up for now. Now, a lot of times I know we're like, don't drop the chest, don't drop the chest. It's okay to tilt forward with a neutral spine. And I'm gonna show you what this means. So if you hinge forward like this with a straight spine, you can actually put more load on the front leg. So think about shifting your weight. This is like 50% equal on both legs, but now I'm gonna put 75% of my weight in the front leg. And what dropping the chest means is this, is you're basically rounding the spine and dropping the chest. But we're actually hinging at the hips, which is a very different story. That makes sense? Good. So now I have most of the weights on my front leg. And let's see if we can even put less weight on the back leg. So I'm kind of coming to my tippy toes, my toes. You know, you've seen ballet dancers, they're like right on their toes, which is really, really challenging and almost damaging to their toes, but they're in special slippers. But what you're doing is trying to just front load like a single leg squat, and this back leg is more of a kickstand for balance. And you also have your chair for balance. So how are we feeling there? Good. So that alignment is still there. When you bend your knees in a squat, your knees will generally shoot forward a little bit anyways, but it doesn't shoot past the toes. Okay, I know, it's burning, right? Add a little arabesque. You don't have to kick it very high. You're just kind of pushing yourself off the ground. So you're taking 100% of the weights onto that front leg. Watch that posture, abs tight. And you don't want to lift the legs so high that you're like arching your back and sort of breaking that neutral spine. So whatever you love about this side, we're going to do it on the other side. Oh, I'm being too vertical. I need to keep sort of my tilt forward here. So this extending leg, I'm just going to talk about a little bit. This butt is squeezing and this quad is squeezing. So fully straighten and extend from the hip. Good. If you want to put your hand on that butt cheek and just make sure it's engaging as you lift, it's great. It does look like I'm kicking it back, but it's a lift. All right, pause for a moment. We're going to just do one more thing on this side before we switch sides. And that's going to be doing it on our toes. You can see my feet. There's my feet. All right. My chair. I'm going to move my chair. Chair. I'm going to use my wall. So, anyways, I'm on my feet. I'm on my toes. I'm sorry. And again, let's redistribute the weight so it's 50% on each side, on each leg. So we're doing what we started doing, but our heels are lifted. And then if you want a little more work in that front leg, you'll hinge a little bit more. But again, I know you can't really tell too much, but I do feel more work in the front leg because I just hinged a little bit more. I kind of reached my tailbone back as I tilted my torso forward at about 45 degrees. All right, we'll just do a few of these of the leg lift. This is going to be more challenging because you're on your toes. Feel free to come back to your heels. All right, since I'm terrible about counting, let's try 8 of those. Feel free to count on your own. How's everyone doing so far? Can I see a thumbs up? Good. All right, thanks. All right, shake out those legs. Shake out those legs. All right, if you need to move your chair, go ahead. I'm actually going to just use my wall, which I forgot to mention, you could use your wall. Regardless of what you're using, since this is not a bar bolted to the wall like in typical studios, we're never going to be pulling on our chair. Not ever. Okay, so I have turned around. My outside leg should be the other one. And remember, we're front loading the leg. So the idea is that this should feel different because your back leg is now your front and it should be pretty fresh. All right, we're starting with that slight bend. I'm starting with keeping my torso mostly vertical and weight distributed about equal, 50% in each leg. Good. So everything I did on the first side will be happening now. Will it be the exact same number? Probably not. Okay. But generally, you're going to feel the burn about equally. Also notice, which I didn't mention on the other side, if you really force your back heel down while you're doing this, you'll feel a little calf stretch. It's kind of nice. Okay, so let's start to shift our weight more forward. Again, it's not dropping the chest, but sort of pushing the tailbone back, hinging at the hip, and that back heel should lift because we are increasing the weight transfer forward. So if you want 75% of your weight felt in the front leg, your back heel should not be down at this point. And you know your own knees, your hips, you know how your body works, so don't feel obligated to go super low. You should be able to feel your legs over time because of how many reps we're doing. Okay, when I stand up, I'm not locking my knees out either. It's about 95, 98% extension. All right, so I'm going to continue shifting the weight forward. I'm basically coming onto my back toes. Good. If my back leg is more of a kickstand now, I know you guys probably don't have mirrors in your house, but you do want to look down and make sure that your knee isn't shooting past the toes. So this is shooting past the toes. If your heel lifts up, you've definitely shot past the toes. So keep that front heel down. Good. And again, use that wall and chair for balance. You actually sometimes end up getting more work felt in the leg when you're not worrying about balance. Now, if we were focusing on balance, that's a different story. Whenever I focus on balance, I don't focus on the muscles as much. Okay, are we ready to lift the leg if you want? So bend, and then as I extend both legs, not locking, you can actually lock out the lifting leg because it's not on the ground and against any sort of resistance other than its own weight for gravity. Tap. You guys feeling it? You should be feeling it. Put your hand here. Make sure you feel that butt cheek engaged as you lift the leg. Toe tap, but all the weight is still in the front leg. Good. Hip extension of the lifting leg and activating the glutes. You're activating the glutes in the front leg too, but just different ways. Okay, if you need to take a quick break, take a quick break because we're going to start the heel lifted portion. And if you don't want to lift your heel, that's totally fine. You can keep doing it with heels down. So I'm redistributing my weight, so 50-50 on each leg now. You can start with your torso more upright. And when I say heel lifted, I'm not saying like you just put on 5-inch stilettos. I mean, if you want, you can, but it can be like a 2-inch heel. It's really like the idea behind lifting the heel is that you do engage your calves regardless, right? Because your heels are up. So don't ever feel obligated to lift your heels a specific height. Okay, so I'm going to start to, once again, sort of tilt my spine forward in a neutral position, nice and straight. And I'm kind of transferring that weight into the front leg again, but keeping my heels up as much as I can. If you guys are doing bar and you don't do it often and you find that your muscles are just like shaking and quivering, don't worry. It's normal. If you're not used to doing a type of exercise, that's how your muscles kind of respond to it. Does the shaking go away with time? It does. But it also just depends on the kind of exercise you're doing. Some exercises I do, I shake all the time, no matter what, even if I've been doing it for a while. Okay, if you want that heel lift of the back leg while keeping, the leg lift of the back leg while keeping both heels lifted. So this is the final variation. And we're actually pretty much up on our 20 minutes. Now, right? That was fast. You're like, thank goodness. Let's do 8 more. You can come down onto your heels anytime. Last 2. Last 1. Shake out those legs. So we're gonna start into our upper body portion. Hello? Oh, I thought my screen froze, but you guys are just standing still. Gosh. Oh geez, I'm so paranoid about Zoom failing me right now. So we're gonna do our upper body portion. These dumbbells, these are not dumbbells. Weights are not required. We are gonna try to keep the arms either at shoulder height or constantly pulsing. All right, we're actually gonna start with shoulders. And I don't really need this anymore. All right, so I'm gonna start with my elbows bent at 90 degrees, up and down. Now, I'm gonna give you the option also to include legs if you want, but you can keep the focus on just the upper body. But here, I'm gonna take my feet wider than my shoulders, toes and knees turned down. And I'm gonna drop. You don't have to do the squats. I mean, you don't have to do any of this, actually, but I'm just saying, think about if you're focused, you wanna be on the upper body, and the legs are distracting you, then don't worry about the legs. We already did the legs. Now the legs I'm doing right now are squats, which we haven't done before. So it does offer a different kind of legs, some more hip opening. Yeah. I'm gonna take a pause from the legs and take the arms up and down. So notice my elbows stay at shoulder height. So it's not like when I come down, my elbows drop. So really important to find these angles, 90 degrees. We actually don't want greater than 90. It puts a lot of stress on the shoulders in a not great way. So we want to work our muscles in the safest and most effective way. All right, so if you wanted to add the squats again, we'll drop down as the weights go down. I'm keeping those knees and toes aligned with each other, pointing out to the corners of the room. I think when you guys are doing Zoom, if you, whether or not you have your video showing to me, you should be able to see yourself. Or no? Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, sometimes it's helpful if you don't have a mirror in front of you, that you have your video on, because then you can see yourself and your angles and your technique. But again, don't feel obligated to have your video on. All right, again, a break from the legs. This part is not about the legs. I'm just adding some legs with it. The focus here is the arms, pressing it up. Now, if you have any shoulder injury that you don't want to take the weight over your head, then you got a couple options. You have this option. You can combine the two, and instead of raising it overhead. Adding those legs. Trying not to lock those arms out at the top. You're going to keep a slight bend in those elbows. So this is bar fusion, or bar with a fitness focus. Most bar classes have a lower body, upper body, and then an abs portion. I'm going to do everything with both arms together, so I know both sides are doing the same number. Save you from having to count, yeah. Okay, let's do 4 more. If I'm moving too fast, feel free to slow down, of course. Okay, Those are all shoulders. We just did 3 shoulder exercises in a row. We're gonna do triceps. My feet are about hip distance apart. I'm just gonna turn sideways here. When we reach my butt back, sit back a little bit. Actually, very similar to the position we're in the lower body portion. Pull your elbows up. Notice where your arms are. When gravity's pulling your fist down, this is the start position. This is not the start position for tricep kickback. So if you just pull your arms up, this is the start position. This is the end position. Wherever your elbows were after you pulled it up, it stays there in space, and you strain the arms. And then it comes back to the start position. A lot of times I see people pull out or extend, and then they swing it in. So it's this constant swinging. When the range of motion is too big, you aren't going to feel your triceps as much. So straighten, release. Straighten, let the fists or dumbbells or beans face or reach towards the floor. Good, my spine is straight. It's not chest dropped, right? So double check that you're really sticking your tailbone out and keeping your chest lifted. This is my full range of motion. It's about 90 degrees. And if you're able to see your elbows, you really want it to stay in place in space. Now we're gonna pulse it, your favorite. So lift, lift. So a straight and a slight bending. And the slight bending is only happening because it's really hard to keep straight the whole time. So every time gravity starts to pull your fist down, you just kind of correct it right away by saying up, up, up. Good. You don't need to keep your eyes on the screen here. You can keep your head and neck aligned with your spine. So I'm just kind of looking at the floor 2 to 3 feet ahead of my feet. Even if you don't have weights in your hand, you should definitely be feeling it if you've shortened the range of motion and you're pulsing. Final 8. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're not quite done with triceps, but this will feel different. If this bothers your arms to be overhead, you do have the option to do this one again, and I would just do it one at a time. And there's another option, you can go out to the side like this. So if you're gonna do this version, you want your pinkies on top. But here I'm gonna do this one only because it does offer variation for overhead. My elbows are in towards my head, not out. And for anyone that took my class yesterday, yes, we did this class, or did this exercise too. So your triceps might already be feeling it. So this is the side view. Notice my elbows are staying in place, in space. So I'm not pulling it back or anything, it's just sort of right next to my eyes. I can see my peripheral vision. Again, if my elbows are out here, I can't really see it anymore. So the full range, mostly straight, about 90 degrees, maybe a little less than 90. I'm not dropping it to the base of my neck. I'm not taking it all the way down there. And if we pulse, are we going to pulse it up here? Interestingly enough, we're not, even though in the other one we pulse keeping our arms straight, we're actually going to pulse it down here. Yeah, so it's wherever gravity kind of has its greatest pull. That's where we do it. It's where we do the pulses. So when we're straightening our arms against gravity, yes, there's more pull when your arms are straight during the kickback. But here, on its way up to straightening, that's where gravity is doing its most amount of good damage. Good work. So here you should definitely feel it as well if we've shortened the range of motion into our pulse. Do about 8 more. Okay, we're gonna just do one more exercise. Ooh, I'm sweating. I didn't turn on the AC. So curls. Our bicep muscles are a lot stronger than our triceps. So you might not feel this as much with the weights that we have or if you don't have weights. I'm going to combine this with some legs, optional. You're gonna take your feet nice and wide again, toes turned out. I'm gonna bend into just one leg, so a side lunge. My knee is not shooting past the toes. I'm gonna feel a little stretch on the inner thigh here. And I'm just gonna turn my body a little bit so that I don't whack myself. So your torso has a bit of rotational abilities. We're just gonna turn a little bit. I'm not turning 100% to face the wall. It's just very slight. Two more on this side, and we're going to continue with those curls, but shift to the other side. So arms are still working, same way. And you can do this standing. You don't need to be in a side lunge at all. Watch that the knee doesn't shoot past the ankle. A little bit past the ankle is okay, but definitely not past the toes. All right, we're going back to the first side on the lunges, and we're gonna pulse. Right at about 90 degrees. Those forearms are mostly parallel. Good, shift legs, pulse will stay the same. Shift back to the first side, watch the change, out, in. When you pull it in, really pull those elbows in. Keep going. Yep. All right, shift legs, keep the arms going. This is our final arm blast here, so I'm gonna just go a few extra. You can do any version of any exercise I've been doing. So if you wanna do more triceps, you can do more triceps. You wanna do a different bicep, or you wanna do shoulders again, feel free. Last two. Good, we can put away our dumbbells or whatever you got in your hand. We're taking it to the mat, guys. And the first thing we're gonna do is a plank. So plank sets up that neutral spine, wrists underneath the shoulders. Try to have that butt at the same height as shoulders, maybe a little bit below. Your arms should be vertical. Eye gaze on the floor between your thumbs. You may totally do it on your elbows, so your elbows are underneath the shoulders, and feel free to drop to your knees as needed. You can also lift your butt a little higher if you tend to feel in the lower back. But the main goal is that you feel it in the abs. Let's think about not just drawing the abs up and in toward our spine, but also squeezing your butt, squeezing your quadriceps, squeezing those muscles right above your kneecaps. And I want you to think about putting more pressure into the floor, either with your forearms or with your hands. So that kind of creates more engagement through the shoulders and arms. If your elbows are locked straight, soften those elbows. Let's work the arm muscles instead of settling into the joints. All right, now that I've talked for so much, that was probably a minute, so we can come out. All right, let's get into our abs. I'm gonna start with the basic crunch, mostly because this is your home base. If there's anything I do that doesn't feel quite comfortable for your back or neck, you can always come back to home base, which is feet hip distance on the floor, knees bent. You're using your abs to bring the shoulder blades off the floor. Your arms are supporting the head and neck without yanking on it. A lot of the exercises emanate from this basic movement. All right, we're gonna add some obliques. I'm gonna reach one arm across to the opposite knee. Same side. But notice as I'm lifting, both shoulder blades come off the ground. It's very easy that only the one shoulder blade on this arm that's reaching comes up. Try to lift both shoulder blades.
especially the one that's on the same side as that bent elbow. That's the one that doesn't want to come off the ground. Good, switch sides. Do about 4 more. Both shoulder blades coming off. All right, pausing there. When we lift our legs off the ground, you want to imprint the lower back. If you feel any pain in the lower back, feel free to put the feet back down. We're going to move one leg at a time. Kick. I'm squeezing my legs, my quads. As I extend, I feel a little hamstring stretch. Now you're feeling, I know, probably more legs and abs. Press those hands down into the floor. And let's kind of take the stairs. The leg that comes back in isn't coming all the way to my chest. And that's kind of the challenge. You'll notice if you extend the leg out and pull the other knee back into the chest, it kind of counterbalances the movement, so it's less work for the abs. Now, if we're going down these steps, you should feel more and more work as you get lower. You decide where you want to extend the legs. Keep alternating. I'm going back up. As I get more and more vertical, I feel more hamstring stretch, more quads, less abs. It's easier to maintain that imprint when my legs are more vertical. Now I'm going to give you an option to lift the head, neck, and shoulders while doing this. If your arms are down, less work on the abs, but no support of the neck. Here, support of the neck, but more work on the abs, because now the abs are not just lifting your head, they're also lifting the weight of your arms. So try a few with the head, neck, and shoulders lifted. Think length, imprints. Remember, you can pick any angle you like. You can stay in this middle angle the whole time if you want. All right, finishing up on a couple more leg extensions. So just angling slightly here, I'm gonna crisscross my ankles and take my knees out to kind of a diamond or a kite. Probably not as obvious here. Let me see. And what you want to do is use the lower part of your abs to lift the tailbone. Now I'm also pushing into the floor. That's perfectly okay. But even before you start to push, see if you can use your abs to just sort of pull your legs towards your head. Meaning I didn't move my legs using my legs. I used my abs. Because in the end, it's about finding and recruiting the correct muscle and not about how high you lift your tailbone. If we're focused so much on lifting the tailbone, I could just kick my legs up there. So much momentum, but I got my tailbone up. That's not the point. Without pushing my arms, I'm basically just contracting my lower part of the abs. And my tailbone lifts up, what, an inch or two? Doesn't even need to lift up that high, but I feel it. Good. The reason why I have your legs like this is because if you do need to give yourself a little assistance, you can actually squeeze your knees in together, and it kind of, you could, I guess, do it this way too, but for some reason this feels a little better. Also, it's Pilates choreography. All right, so let's do a couple more. Remember, it's not about how high you lift that tailbone. So we did all this crunch here, which worked the top part of our abs. And then we did all this middle stuff, and now the lower bar. All right, like a couple more. And then we're gonna do some spine work just to balance out all the abs we did, and then we'll do a little bit of stretching. All right. If you don't prefer to lay on your stomach, the other option is to be here and extend right arm, left leg, and left arm, right leg. I'm gonna be on my stomach, but that's always an option you have if you don't want to be on your stomach. Right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. I'm keeping my limbs straight. I have my limbs reaching to the corners of the mats. My head and neck stays aligned with my spine, so my chin is slightly tucked. Eye gaze on the floor. The only time I come out of alignment is when I look at the screen to look at you guys. So it's important to balance out abdominal work with spine work. It's always at a ratio of 4 to 1 or something. You never do as much spine work as you do ab work. Mostly because our abs are just a lot stronger than our spine, and our spine is slightly delicate, so you don't want to overwork it, but you also don't want to ignore it. All right, that's good. Let's push ourselves up. And if you're already on your hands and knees, great. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We take our spine through the extremes. So this is the smile. Your tailbone's up, chest up, eye gaze. Eye gaze doesn't need to be as high as possible. It wants to be aligned with the spine. So eye gaze maybe a foot ahead of your fingers. And then this is the rainbow. You probably heard it called cat and cow, which is fine. You can call it whatever you like. This reminds me of a rainbow, which is nice and happy, and a smile is nice and happy. Your tailbone and head are part of your spine. So when I'm going to my rainbow, my pelvis needs to move. My tailbone needs to point downward. My head needs to drop. It finishes the curve. And then also, when you do the smile, the tailbone needs to go up, the chest goes up. All right, we're gonna wrap up here. I'm just angling my body slightly different. I'm taking a leg out to the side for the inner thigh stretch, and I'm just shifting my body back a little bit to deepen the stretch. If you already feel the stretch just by extending the leg, then you don't need to do anything further. Good. I just need to turn around so I don't kick the wall, but if you have room on the other side of your body, you're going to extend that other leg, and then from the quadruped position, you're going to shift back a little bit. This exercise is for Heather, the quadruped. All right, you're going to stand on up. You've got to stretch those quads. We did a lot of work focusing on quad contraction. So that heel is straight back, same side butt cheek. All right, stretch the other leg. Definitely feel free to ask any questions. I always read the chat, and I will find a way to contact you if you do have questions. Hopefully I explained everything so well you have no questions. Just kidding. It's fine to have questions. So this is our quad stretch. We're going to do a hamstring stretch, which is basically a forward fold. So I'm going to just peel myself away from this imaginary wall behind my head and peel my spine away from the wall. And I'm going to reach down for my toes. I'm going to let my head be very heavy. If I'm looking at the floor, my neck is engaged. If I relax my head and neck, I'm looking at my kneecaps. I'm having my arms hang nice and heavy. So our hamstrings are being stretched here. If you want, you can bend the knee and start to strain the other leg a little more, and you might feel a little more of the hamstring, and then switch. Be gentle as you do this. I'm just bending one knee, straightening the other. Or you can keep both legs straight. Good, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Head being the last thing that comes up. Good, just get some arm circles in there. This is also a really great exercise to do if you've been sitting at your desk for a while and you notice that you've been in this typing position for the last 4 hours. Get your arms overhead, get your arms moving around.